Welcome to the Eye Opener. I'm your host, Michael Lewis. After decades of Democratic representation, Iowa House District 29 has flipped from being blue to red as Jon Dunwell wins the special election. A federal judge blocks United Airlines vaccine mandate temporarily. Loudoun County is in the news again with a parent not only being barred from a school board meeting, but also arrested. Okay, my friends, let's take a closer look together. A federal judge issued a temporary restraining order against United Airlines on Wednesday, preventing the company from imposing vaccine mandates on any of its employees in a nationwide class action lawsuit. Judge Mark Pittman barred United Airlines from placing employees with religious and medical exemptions on unpaid leave until October 26, while the lawsuit continues in what could be the nation's first order against the coronavirus vaccine mandate. The judge also barred the airline from denying any employee's request for a religious or medical exemption. Previously, the airline did not allow employees to apply for exemptions after August 31st. Earlier, United Airlines agreed to postpone the vaccination mandate for employees with exemptions until October 15th, while the lawsuit is pending. However, on October 8th, United filed a motion to dismiss in part, claiming that the court lacked jurisdiction over the claims in the lawsuit. In order to allow the court reasonable amount of time to respond to the challenge and rule for the preliminary injunction, Pittman issued the temporary restraining order. United initially told its 67,000 U.S. employees that they had until September 27th to get vaccinated or be exempted or face dismissal. Under the airline's vaccine mandate, any employee who receives an exemption will still be considered employed, but will be placed on unpaid leave and will lose benefits for up to 6 years or until the airline deems pandemic conditions to be safe for unvaccinated employees to return. Ken Blackwell, a former U.S. ambassador to the UN Human Rights Commission and currently with the American Constitutional Rights Union, said it is unconscionable to force any person to undergo a medical treatment that they object to as a matter of faith. He also went on to say, when so many other nations recognize that there is no medical reason for people with natural immunity to take a vaccine, it is essential that America lead the way to protect our citizens' rights on the front also. Sher Jaffe, a Washington, D.C. law firm, filed a class action lawsuit in September in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Texas, representing up to 2,000 United Airlines employees. The employees suing United claim that the company violated Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Americans with Disabilities Act by discriminating against them on the basis of religious and medical exemptions. This is one of the largest cases in the United States, and if the judge favors the airline employees, it could have a domino effect and affect other vaccine mandate cases across the country. United Airlines was the first airline to implement a vaccine mandate. Other airlines followed, and there was mass disruption. Airline employees have been protesting across the country as the company has fired thousands of employees. Last weekend, Southwest Airlines was forced to cancel nearly 2,000 flights, citing staffing issues and bad weather. This is despite rumors that pilots actually staged a massive protest, refusing to fly just 2 days after the Southwest Airline Pilots Union asked a federal judge to block the company's vaccine mandate. Democrats who previously considered themselves the party of protecting workers' rights have largely touted the vaccine mandate as a lifesaver without acknowledging the violation of individual rights. President Biden also recently praised United's mandatory vaccines, calling such a measure life-saving. The results of the special election for the Iowa House of Representatives held on October 12th are clear, with Republican Jon Dunwell winning, flipping Newton District held by Democrats for years. According to unofficial results, Dunwell won nearly 60% of the votes, while Democrat Steve Mullen received 40.2%. This election resulted in a 60-40 majority for Iowa House Republicans going into the 2021 special session and the 2022 session. Dunwell, a pastor and financial service representative, has lived in Newton with his wife for 10 years. They have 2 children. He has also been a pastor in Orlando for 21 years. This is the second Republican victory in a special election this fall. Last month, Republican Michael Busalo won a hotly contested race to keep the city of Ankeny's Iowa House seat in Republican control. Governor Kim Reynolds said in a statement, Iowans have spoken loud and clear in these last two special elections about the direction we are taking the state. She continued, candidates who stood strongly for parental choice, personal responsibility, and pro-growth policies were successful, and we are just getting started. House Speaker Pat Grassley said in a statement that Dunwell flipped a seat that had been held by Democrats for 46 years. Dunwell's victory is a clear signal from Iowans that they reject what Democrats are doing in Washington and in their state. And coming up, a mom in Virginia who we reported on earlier this year reacts to CRT and Attorney General Merrick Garland's announcement calling parents domestic terrorists. And Loudoun County is in the news again. But I want to take a quick second to ask all my friends watching and my live chat family to please take a moment to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, but most importantly, share this video. I am depending on you, my friends, and the power of word of mouth to spread the truth. Also, to support the Eye Opener team, please consider donating to the show or purchasing a mug that matters. You can find the link in the description below, and your support, as always, is greatly appreciated. Salut. We first brought you this story in June about the Virginia mom who went to a Loudoun County School Board meeting to voice her concerns about critical race theory and educate everyone there about how the Chinese Communist Party operates using the same tools to stop parents from speaking out. To recap, the mom, Xi Van Fleet, warned everyone that the communist political movement that destroyed China decades ago is unfolding in the United States.
You are now training our children to be social justice warriors and to loathe our country and our history. Growing up in Mao's China, all this seemed very familiar. The communist regime used the same critical theory to divide people. The only difference is they use class instead of race. During the Cultural Revolution, I witnessed students and teachers turn against each other. We changed school names to be politically correct. We were taught to denounce our heritage. The Red Guards destroy anything that is not communist.
And last week, Attorney General Merrick Garland announced that a Department of Justice task force would decide how federal enforcement tools could be used to prosecute criminal conduct directed towards school personnel. The DOJ's effort to stifle parents' objections to CRT or anything the left wants to promote in schools has turned them into so-called domestic terrorists. Van Fleet has now joined parents in neighboring Fairfax County who are denouncing the DOJ's efforts. Her own parents ended up in prison because someone reported them to the Chinese Communist Party. She survived, but it wasn't until she was 26 years old and living in the United States that she found a freedom she had never enjoyed before. I felt like it's such a free country, meaning I have free access to all sorts of information, books on both sides of the issues, she said. However, in the current political and cultural climate in the U.S., she said that there has been an erosion of that freedom. While the madness and lawlessness of Mao's Cultural Revolution may sound extreme to Americans, Van Fleet warns that the U.S. is following a similar path. She said, "To me and to a lot of Chinese, it is heartbreaking that we escaped communism and now we're experiencing communism here." In her speech to the school board, she drew a direct comparison between what she saw in China back then and what she sees in the U.S. today. She is worried about what will come next. Will parents risk their lives just to speak out for their children? In Fairfax County, Harry Jackson, a parent and president of the Thomas Jefferson High School Parent-Teacher-Student Association, said that parents are now afraid to speak out because of Garland's announcement. Suparna Dutta, who pulled her son out of Jefferson, said,
"I believe that I'm living in a time when if I don't speak up for my child and if I don't stand up for what's right in America, I don't know what the next generation will be left with."
Van Fleet and her family lived through so much during the Cultural Revolution, and she doesn't want that for American children or their parents. She said that parents are not just fighting to keep CRT out of schools now, but also for the future of all American children. She said, "For me, I'm fighting it because it's about our future, the future of this country, so we cannot be intimidated." Over the past year, the situation in Loudoun County, Virginia, has become the focus of national attention as it has become the origin of opposition to key racial theories and transgender ideology in schools. Parents have stood up at school board meetings to fight back against policies that allow boys into girls' bathrooms, books that promote pedophilia, and other perverse directives. One parent, Scott Smith, attended a school board meeting after his daughter was raped by a transgender boy in the girls' bathroom at Stonebridge Middle School. But before the meeting, he was given a no-entry order and forbidden to tell his story. This was to keep his daughter's story from being made public. When Smith went to the school to complain about what had happened, they instead accused him of lying and called the police. But he picked up a test kit for his daughter the same night and confirmed the crime. Moments before Smith's arrest, the school board announced that it had no record of any rape in terms of the school's transgender policy. This was the starting point for the desperate father. They had an Antifa anti-racism activist at the meeting claiming that his daughter was lying. When an argument broke out, the police officer grabbed his arm. When he pulled his arm away, he was beaten, thrown to the floor, handcuffed, and led out of the room. The transgender boy was released back into the school system, and within a few months, he committed another rape. It is important to ensure everyone's safety, and we must not rush to accommodate one group at the expense or detriment of another. More thought and discussion is absolutely needed. And that's it for today, my friends. Check out the playlist right here for more eye-opening content. You can join me in the Eye Opener Telegram chat room and follow me on Newmaker, Gab, Parler, and Getter. Now don't forget, please sign up to the email list so that we can stay in touch. I'd like to thank you all, and I'll see you next time.